Hello, Da Vinci. Welcome back. This is our week 2 of science. We've got our week commencing the 11th of January, and it's lesson 1. So our learning objective today is: can I find a way to remember the names and order of the planets? Now, some of you have done this, so I want you to stay. Some of you may know this, so I want you to stay with the lesson, and I've got a challenge at the end. Okay. So what is in space? Well, this week we're going to find out. You should have already watched this video below. It was in our last science lesson. It's all about our solar system and the planets that are inside it. So I want you to make sure you have definitely watched this video here. If you've not seen it, you need to go back to the previous lesson that was last week, and you need to watch the science video from last week. There was only one last week, so I need you to go and watch it, that one. And in the description, you will find this video. You can even maybe just type in the video name if you can't find it. Okay. So after watching that, talk to your Teddy. What was something that you learned that you found interesting about our solar system? So what did you find interesting about what you learned? So I want you to just pause the video and have that discussion. Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on. So now for us, it's really important in year 2 to understand what our solar system is, and we need to understand it by remembering the order of the planets. So we're going to look at today one way of remembering the planets. So I can see I've got the picture of a cartoon of the planets here. We haven't got a real picture of what all the planets look like, because for us to get a picture looking like this, we need a camera so far out in space that was so clear, because actually it would never look like this, because the planets are always moving at different spots, and they only very rarely line up like that. Okay, so one way of remembering something is called a mnemonic. Now I'm just going to make sure that you can definitely see that word. It's that word in purple there. It's called a mnemonic. Mnemonic. And it's a way of remembering something tricky. Now, it's either using the letter or a letter in a word for a list and making it into a bit of a silly sentence. And it's this way you can help you with spelling, maybe, or remembering a long list. So here's an example of some mnemonics that you may already know. Now, this is the word because. However, because is quite a tricky word to spell. Now, if you remember the mnemonic, and a mnemonic is ways of remembering each of the starting letters of because so that you can spell it correctly. So instead of Because, you use the first letter of each of these to spell out a word which helps you remember it. Big elephants can always understand small elephants. And that is a way of remembering how to spell because. Another mnemonic that you may have known, and I know we know the Roygabov because we always have a joke about the colours of the rainbow. But the colours of the rainbow, one of the ways of remembering it is Richard of York gave battle in vain. And that's a history one, something to do with history. And it's a battle to do with the King Richard of York. However, we're not going to cover that yet, but it's a way of remembering. So Richard is red, of orange, York yellow, gave green, blue battle, indigo in violet vein. Okay, that's how you remember it. Another way is when we've spoken about using our compass. Instead of north, east, south, west, you might have never eat shredded wheat. And it's, again, a silly sentence that's going to help you remember either a spelling or a list or something that we need in our year 2 curriculum. So here we got. The amazing thing with mnemonics is there isn't a right or wrong answer. So looking at because we had big elephants can always understand small elephants. Well, that's not the only way that you can remember because blue elephants can add up sums easily. What a funny sentence. Elephants doing maths. There's another way. Big elephants can't always use small exits. So it's saying that big elephants can't always use the small doors. And it's also saying big elephants can always upset small elephants. Now that's a sad one. But as you can see, each one of these is different, but they all spell because the same. So we're going to do one for the planets. Now, Let's create a mnemonic remembering the order of the planets. Now, there are loads of possibilities. One that I've got here says, Mad Vikings enjoy making jam sandwiches up north. How funny. Then you can see that every time you've got mad. Now, that is for Mercury. Viking, V is for Venus. Enjoy, E is for Earth. Making, M is for Mars. Jam, J is for Jupiter. Sandwiches, S is for Saturn. Up is for Uranus. And N for Neptune. Now, there's another one here I've got on the other screen. It says my for Mercury, my very Venus, excited Earth, mother Mars, just Jupiter, served Saturn, us Uranus, Neptune. My very excited mother just served us nachos. How silly. Now, if you've got some people at home maybe watching this video as well, they might be a bit confused. And that's because before 2006, or a long time before most of you were born, there was a ninth planet. So that was only 8 planets, okay? There was a ninth planet that was part of our solar system. This planet didn't disappear. It is still there. However, astronomers changed the definition of the planet, of what a planet is. And they believe that Pluto didn't have a strong enough gravitational force. So you can see here, there's another mnemonic. My very easy method just speeds up naming planets. And the P for planets was called a planet called Pluto. Now, Pluto is still there. It's still in our solar system. However, unfortunately, because they changed what a planet needs, what something needs in order to be a planet, they realized that Pluto's gravitational force wasn't strong enough, and therefore the planet is no longer a planet. It's now a dwarf planet, which means it's a smaller planet than the rest of them. And because of that, we no longer say Pluto is in our solar system. It's a dwarf planet that's in our solar system. It's not a planet in the solar system, okay? So let's go back to the ones that are now correct. The ones that after 2006, these are now correct. So these are the ones that we're looking at. And I'd like us to make our own mnemonic. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. So it says, using this sheet here. Now, I know we haven't got this sheet, so I'm going to do one better. What we're going to do is on one side, you've got your mnemonic. So for this one, it says, my very excited mother just served us nachos. And underneath each one it's like a flip. So they've cut it and you flip it back, and underneath it says what the planet name is. So underneath mother, they've cut it and pulled it back, and it says Mars, because Mars is the 4th planet in our solar system. Underneath served, they've cut the first sheet, they've pulled the back, and underneath the second sheet, it says Saturn, because that's the S. So my very excited mother just served us nachos. It's going to be Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So the first sheet, and I've got a picture of an astronaut on my first sheet, but what I'm going to do is there is a second video that will be going out today that's a science video, and I'm going to be showing you, using your own paper at home, how you can create one of your own. And what it will be is you'll get 2 sheets of paper. You'll have one sheet at the back here, and you'll have another sheet on top, which will then flip, and we'll show how to cut it right. It'll flip so that you can have the names of the planet underneath, and on top you can have your mnemonic, how you're going to remember the planets. So that's another video going out today on how to create this, okay? And that's by me, so you need to come and watch that video by me in order to make it. The link for that video is in the description, so you need to go and click that link, and you need to go follow that, and then you can make your own little flip book on how to do the mnemonic. And then there's also an extension, and your extension is, do you know any facts about the solar system, which you can record and then share with us? Now, for those children that do know this and are aware of what the planets are, and you will very quickly make this book and you know what you're doing, I've got a second extension for you. For a super tricky challenge on planets, I've added some top trumps to Tapestry with instructions on how to play. So each one of these is on a Tapestry post, or there's one Tapestry post that's got lots of different pages, and you can use them. You can zoom in and you can make your own. And it's got all of the planets, and it's got the sun, and it's also got some moons that are really big moons that are part of the orbit of some of the planets. And I want you to, maybe you could have a game with them. Now, remember, this is a challenge free. Some of these are really, really tough because you've got the diameter and the temperature and how fast the planet's moving and the mass, how heavy it is. And it's even got some of its own little facts underneath. These are really challenging. And I've put these up to really push the ones that are really confident in space, because I know I've got a couple of people in Da Vinci that are really, really confident in space. So these are going to go up on Tapestry and they'll be up the same time this video goes up, okay? So that's something that you can push yourself and you could play this game. On one of the black card sheets is the rules on how to play and how to win each of when you're playing the top trump games, okay? Thank you for coming along to this lesson. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson, which you'll be watching for science, which is about making the mnemonic sheet. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, Da Vinci. Thank you very much.